The Fall and Rise of Final Fantasy XIV, Episode 10, Growing Pains.
2014. Patch 2.1 added free company housing to the 3 main city-states of Eorzea.
Sick.
The system allowed free companies to own actual plots of land on their respective servers. Most other MMOs at the time opted for an instanced variant where everyone basically owned the same plot, but in different instances. In 14's case, entire wards of 30 plots was instanced, giving the community a more social housing system. 14's system is both ambitious and impressive, but almost 6 months in, there's trouble. Bad actors, house flippers, and a severe lack of wards and plots is starting to crack the newly reassembled community. Eorzea is facing a housing crisis.
I still think that they need to tweak the way that the housing system works. But I still think it's the way that it needs to be. Like, you need to have multiple people in one neighborhood, but you need to make it easier to be able to have more layers, I guess, maybe? I don't know. Of like the instance.
We need only look at the system itself. At launch, Eorzea's housing system consisted of 5 housing wards spread across the 3 city-states, making up a total of 15 wards with 30 plots each. That provided each server with 450 plots. These plots were actual plots of land that existed.
Hold on, I need to pay attention to this, because this is not how it works right now, is it? I need to forget how it currently works and realize how it used to work.
System itself. At launch, Eorzea's housing system consisted of 5 housing wards spread across the 3 city-states, making up a total of 15 wards with 30 plots each. That provided each server with 450 plots. These plots were actual plots of land that existed within the world, and that was it. On legacy worlds, many plots of land remained untouched for months due to the high prices, while on other servers, the plots started selling out rapidly. A new problem now faced the community.
Oh, so it's the same.
Some players abused
structure,
the housing system
even now,
by using personal free companies to purchase plots of land
the lottery
and then
system,
reselling them to players, often doubling or tripling the price. Some players would purchase these plots, but in many cases the plots would just sit there, sold but without any activity. So-called flipper houses became commonplace on all servers, further agitating those who weren't quick enough to snatch a house for their free companies.
Yeah, that is bloody annoying.
Other free companies would create a series of sub-companies that would snatch up houses for their members. In extreme cases, they would own entire wards. That's almost 30 plots out of 450 for just one free company. At this point, the game has no system in place to remove inactive accounts' houses.
Does it still happen?
Nor is there any way to prevent house flipping.
It's just
and
harder
free
for them to do it, but it just
monopolies.
makes it more expensive.
By the end of June
They'll sell you
2014, almost all of the plots across the NA and EU servers had run out. The community was not happy. Not only because of the issues we just talked about, but because housing required a free company. Where was the personal housing? Housing quickly became a status symbol. If your free company didn't have a house, you'd be less likely to get new members. While the open housing system was a good idea, it was now also proving to be one of A Realm Reborn's biggest challenges to date. On July 8th, Final Fantasy XIV receives its 3rd content patch, Defenders of Eorzea. The patch contained a multitude of improvements and additions, including the Ramuh Trial and Circus Tower.
Circus Tower,
One of
baby.
the most anticipated features in 2.3 was the introduction of Savage Mode for the 2nd Coil of Bahamut. This was a direct response to the game's raiders, who had complained that the 2nd and 1st Coils of Bahamut were too easy to complete, leaving raid groups without anything to do for months after clearing the raids. Savage Mode was enabled only for the 2nd Coils and was unlocked through a quest involving the Wandering Minstrel. The Savage Mode of the 2nd Coil of Bahamut introduced additional mechanics to the fights, as well as inflated boss HP and damage. The reward for completing the Savage modes were achievements and the titles Reflecia Reaper for turn 1, Melusine Mauler for turn 2, the Avatar for turn 3,
I won't
and
do that one.
Dominatrix or Domitor, depending on your character's gender, for turn 4.
Oh, cool.
A brand new PvP system was also introduced, Frontline. This was a large-scale PvP system where 3 teams consisting of up to 24 players for a total of 72 would battle for victory on a massive
I want to know
battlefield.
how it was received on launch.
Each team would represent one of the game's 3 grand companies, and the goal was to capture and defend outposts around the battlefield. The game's PvP system is still being adjusted heavily at this point, and in patch 2.3 skills are being completely remade to work better in the new system. To improve matching efficiency, the Duty Finder would match players in either 72-man, 48-man, or 24-man matches based on the number of players queuing. A feature that was sorely missing in A Realm Reborn but was present in 1.0 was the notorious monster system, or the NM system. A Realm Reborn reintroduced this feature as the hunt system in 2.3.
I was really hoping he would comment on how that PvP mode was received.
B rank, A rank, and S rank. Although not referred to as notorious monsters, they were essentially the same thing. B ranks being the lowest rank, they could be soloed, which meant hundreds of adventurers started scouring the realm for them. This led to a big problem for the B ranks, as they'd often be killed immediately after spawning, ironically making them one of the hardest marks to kill. The A and S ranks behaved more like actual NMs from 1.0 and 11. A ranks would have random spawn timers and S ranks would have specific spawn conditions. Some would require players to kill a certain amount of enemies during specific weather or time of day, and some would require more random conditions to be met, like dying naked during a full moon. Additionally, regular marks were introduced,
You're kidding.
Basically turning regular mobs
How would
into
you
hunt
even
targets.
find out that you need to do
This
that?
added more purpose to the overworld, which many players at the time felt had become empty. A number of quality of life improvements were added as well, including the option to display an enemy's HP percentage on their health and focus bars, interacting with NPCs while mounted, and limits on how often a player can send messages in say, shout, and yell chat to prevent spam. But perhaps the most anticipated feature of them all was the devs' response to the looming housing crisis. Their response would come in 2.3 in the form of another housing ward. While that doesn't sound like much of a solution, it gave the players without a free company house renewed hope of getting a house in this patch. All 3 housing areas would receive a new ward, adding 90 new plots to all servers. In addition to this, all free company houses would now contain private chambers for the free company's members. The price was only 300,000 gil, and the devs were hoping this would help ease the tension caused by the lack of available plots. The private chambers would look almost identical to a cottage, save for the lack of a basement level. Each FC house would come equipped with personal chambers and could hold a total of 512 chambers, regardless of the house size.
That's pretty good.
Another new feature that was added to FC housing was Chocobo stables.
Oh, nice.
This allowed FC members to stable their Chocobo in their FC stables and train them using cracker routes with a 60-minute cooldown between sessions. While this was a great feature to add, it made FC housing even more valuable. And as soon as the servers went live, the housing plots were ripped away in mere hours on the most populated servers. Housing in 14 would remain an issue for years to come.
Still an issue,
In the midst of the housing crisis, Final Fantasy XIV's first anniversary is fast approaching. August the 27th, 2014 would mark the 1-year anniversary of the game's relaunch as A Realm Reborn, and Yoshi P and his team wanted to mark the occasion with a multitude of events, both in and out of game.
No way.
An anniversary website was launched, featuring an anniversary countdown with illustrations made by various members of the Final Fantasy XIV art team, published every day leading up to the anniversary.
Awesome.
Another feature, and my absolute favorite, was the Tales from the Calamity. This was a collection of 5 stories chronicling the events before, during, and after the Calamity. This helped bridge some of the game's 5-year story gap between 1.0 and A Realm Reborn, as well as providing some new background lore for existing characters. This is a highly recommended read if you haven't read it already. Link is in the description, so make sure to give it a read after watching this video.
Yeah.
In-game, in the first ever
do
Rising
need to do
event,
that.
the Wandering Minstrel, representing Yoshi P in the game, addressed the players in a song, thanking them for their support through the troubled times the game has been through. It's hard to put into words how much this event meant to both Legacy and A Realm Reborn players. It was the first time the director and producer spoke to us, albeit indirectly, about what we'd been through as a community.
It's so cool that they do
intimate
this.
and real. It reminded us that the game could have ended 2 years ago, but instead we're here, celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the game's rebirth.
So special.
The Rising event was short, but sweet. Finally, the game's developers posted their own messages to the players on the anniversary website every day leading up to the anniversary, ending with Naoki Yoshida's message on the day of the anniversary. While the in-game event spoke to us in a more indirect way, this was directly from Yoshi P to us, the players. It went as follows. To all you FFXIVers out there, first I'd like to thank you for playing, of course, but also for all of your feedback and words of support over the past year. I think I speak for everyone here on the team when I say that nothing brings us greater joy than seeing you, our players, enjoying your adventures in the world of Eorzea. Sometimes it feels as though we've just gotten started, and yet here we are, celebrating the first anniversary of A Realm Reborn. Again, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have stayed by our side and helped us reach this momentous milestone. We've surmounted quite a few obstacles in the past year, from the server congestion and login issues at the start of official service, to the subsequent setbacks that delayed the release of patch 2.1 and several anticipated new game features. My own miscalculations were to blame for these issues, and I sincerely apologize to all of you who were affected. While the past year has left me with
Yoshida is the GOAT. I can't even, man. Like, how often do you get this line of dialogue? Unreal. Yeah. A class 1 gentleman with a capital G. That is a great way to put it.
with much to learn from, it's also left me with many fond memories, particularly of meeting players across the globe. Your kind words of support really do mean the world to me. If we count from the days of version 1.0, September would have actually marked the 4th anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV. For 4 years, we have worked furiously to create a game worthy of our fans, and it warms my heart to know that many of our legacy players have supported us through our hardships. Though the realm looks very different today than it did 4 years ago, I trust that you have many fond memories of your time in Eorzea, and hope that you will make many more in the years to come. As we commemorate the game's anniversary and take in all the lessons learned from our first year, the team is already charging forward full bore with new ideas and aspirations for version 3.0.
Yo!
In our mission to create an expansion that truly takes Final Fantasy XIV to the next level, there's little time for celebration here at the office.
Yo!
We still have many moms to
Sprinkling
travel
in a
before
little
the
3.0
expansion,
there.
but in the meantime, I hope you're all looking forward to patch 2.4 and all the new systems and features to come with it. This year, we'll also be holding our very first fan festival. It's been 4 years coming, and I'm very excited to celebrate Final Fantasy XIV in grand fashion with fans the world over. There are no words to describe how ecstatic we are to see A Realm Reborn thriving as it reaches its first anniversary. With our commitment to bring you over 10 years of adventure, you can be sure that we're only getting started. I hope you'll stay with us in the years to come as we strive even harder to make Eorzea a place we can all be proud to call home. See you all soon at upcoming events, at the fan festival, in my letters from the producer, and most of all, in Eorzea. On August the 23rd, 2014, the first ever 14-hour broadcast was aired, featuring Yoshi P and various other members of the dev team celebrating A Realm Reborn.
So good.
This will become a tradition that still continues to this day.
I'm feeling things.
2014 would also be the year of collaborations for Final Fantasy XIV. The game would see the crossover event with Lightning Returns return for a second and third time that year, once in February and again in September.
Nice.
Final Fantasy XI got its much anticipated crossover event in January and returned in August that year, and Dragon Quest X got its crossover in January and returned in September.
Oh yeah, I've done that
In
quest.
October of 2014, Final
good.
Fantasy XIV hosted its first ever fan festivals, where players would come together to celebrate the game. Throughout the latter half of the year, Square Enix had revealed more and more about an upcoming expansion, version 3.0. The mere thought of an expansion still felt unreal for 14, considering its
So good.
background, but a hype was building throughout the year. No
So
name had
good.
been revealed yet. When would we get the reveal? Would it be revealed at FanFest? The lights dim, and we finally get the reveal we've been waiting for.
Oh. I was gonna say, it sounds like it's live. I'm getting. No. I'm not crying again on stream with Final Fantasy XIV, please. It's just a trailer, man. Relax. Yo. This is a little different. I assume because it's just the announcement trailer. It's not like the full trailer. Oh man, you would be so pumped. Yes. So sick.
Heaven swore.
Expansion!
Final Fantasy XIV's first
That guy's hype is my spirit animal. Let me go back. Expansion! Yeah! Expansion!
Final Fantasy XIV's
Oh, I
first
feel
ever
you, man. I feel
expansion
you.
is fittingly going to take place in Ishgard. The city-state that never was in 1.0 is finally becoming a reality. The realm is going to expand for the very first time, and we'll be getting the high fantasy storyline we were dreaming of. Dragons, castles, and dragoons. It's all coming. Yoshi P continues to reveal more details, like the reveal of Ishgard's interior and the Dravanian Forelands. One of the new beast tribes, the Vanu, the introduction of a brand new feature, flying mounts. And of course,
I bet
finally,
everyone lost it.
the reveal of the brand new job, Dark Knight. With an expansion on the horizon, Final Fantasy XIV is running full steam ahead. Better than ever before. Heavensward is getting closer, but there's still more work to be done on A Realm Reborn. Can A Realm Reborn storyline end in a satisfying way? And what about the housing system? Can that be fixed? Those are questions for another time. For now, I have to take
it's
my
painful
leave
that
once again.
from the future we
I'll
can
be back
say,
in the next
no,
episode
housing
of
is
the Fallen
still not
Rise of
fixed.
Final Fantasy XIV. Thank you to my patrons for hanging in there while I slowly make my videos. I know it's frustrating to wait, but I hope you enjoy what I produce. Thank you. Alright, time to go. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal.
Yo. It's interesting to see that one of the suggested videos there is a recent upload from them, and is WoW's proposed housing system better than 14's? While I don't feel like weighing in on that conversation or whatever, it is still just crazy to think that the housing crisis is still a real thing. The system very much has not really changed, I guess. Like, they added an extra ward or whatever, but I guess making it so that it's now done via a lottery system still means that if you're organized enough, you can still game the system. If you have enough entrants who are in an organized group who apply and then sell, you know, like it's a step in the right direction because it adds some randomness to it, but at the end of the day, there must be something further that they can do. Honestly, it would be so difficult though. Like, my immediate feeling is that they would need to add some kind of layering or something to the instance system, but it's easy to say that as a solution. Its implementation, though, is a completely different thing altogether, and we know about spaghetti code and whatever else, so it's kind of crazy. I've experienced the Rising event, and like, even as a player who had at that point really only finished 2.0, maybe 2.1, I was shocked to be like suddenly face to face in game with a representative of, or an embodiment really, of Yoshi, and just I got emotional then, so I can only imagine how it would have felt at the time playing through, sticking from 1.0 through to 2.0, and then being there waiting patiently for 2.4. You get a letter from this guy. He tells you 3.0 is a thing, and then there's an in-game message. Like, you would just, I mean, I'm starting to feel it now. Like, again, Final Fantasy XIV is just so goddamn good. And you know what? Again, shout out to the expansion guy, okay? I feel you. I would be exactly the same. And who knows, maybe one day I will be when we're waiting for the next expansion, if I ever catch up.